Hey guys, it's Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com. Today we've got video number 1 of 3 in our Hello Ladybug Stamp-A-Stack series. We are going to do some awesome cards. There's 8 cards in this Wonder Recipe, and it is a Wonder Recipe number 12. We're going to do It's a Good Day. This is our first design. Our Stamp-A-Stack makes 3 of this card. This is 1 in a 3 video series. Our second video will be tomorrow. May your greatest wish come true. Our Stamp-A-Stack makes 2 of this card. And then on Wednesday, we'll get the final video in the series. You can bug me anytime. The Stamp-A-Stack makes 3 of this card. You can see we're going to mix and match the designer series paper, have a really good time. This paper is the celebration paper. It's Friendly Hello designer series paper. You might have earned that for free during celebration. If you didn't, no worries. There's an optional class packet in the Kitchen Table Stamper store. Just buzz over to kitchentablestamper.com/shop in the right hand menu, or if you're on a mobile device, you scroll to the bottom and filter for class packets, and you'll see if there's any of these available. In the class packet, there's a quarter package of that awesome designer series paper. Get a quarter package of black and white gingham ribbon, half a package of these awesome flowers. Aren't they so cool on the card? A little bit of sparkle and some fun. Your class packet, let me get mine so I can show you, has your kits made for your cards. You'll have all of your card bases cut and scored for you. We don't do any stamping or embossing, but we do your cutting, scoring, die cutting, and punching. And we're gonna take a look here. I've got a little head start on some of these, so you don't have to watch me do all 3. But we're gonna take the card kit for It's a Good Day, and let me show you what's inside. And if you're cutting your own, you'll need a pool party card base, 3 if you're doing the Stamp-A-Stack. That's 8.5 by 5.5 and scored at 4 1/4. I've got this really cute pierced square. It's from a brand new die set. This is from the Stylish Shapes, and it is the second largest. I don't have a die chart for this one, but it's coming soon. And then I have the little arrow from the All That dies. We cut this one for you out of basic white. Don't miss those All That dies from the new annual catalog. We also do your punching for you. So we've used the bow punch. If you're cutting your own kit, you'll want to do granny apple leaves and shaded spruce sprigs, 2 of each for each card. All right, so that's your kit, and this makes 3. Let's go ahead and grab our designer series paper from our packet too. We're going to choose 3 designs. Of course, you can do any 3 that you like out of this quarter package. I love how my cards turned out, so I'm going to go with the same 3 patterns. Go with the multicolor stripe, this beautiful granny apple leaf pattern, and a speckle in fresh freesia. You'll get 2 of each of those sheets, and then 2 each of these other designs. There will be plenty of extra designer series paper for you to play with. And then we're going to cut them according to Wonder Recipe number 12. So let's get the paper trimmer. All right, so let's cut this up according to the Wonder Recipe. Now, these 2 patterns are not directional, so it does not matter. This one is. We have to take and analyze which way we want our stripes to go. So let's first cut these 2. Our Stampin' Up! Paper trimmer can cut 2 pieces at one time, so we're going to stack them up. Then we're going to cut them according to the diagram. This is a 1-sheet wonder. We're going to cut all the papers, we're going to deal out the pieces onto the chart, and then we're going to make 8 cards from those pieces. I love these Wonder Recipes as a way to jump in and get started. Once you've cut the paper, it's so much easier to get over it and just get crafty. So the first thing we're going to do is pop this in on one of the 6-inch sides. It doesn't matter because we're not directional. And we're going to cut 2 inches. And then we're going to rotate and cut 3 inches. And then we're going to pop those pieces right in the grid. So we're going to just pop those over. And you can print the grid at kitchentablestamper.com. The details are in the description below. And I just put them in a very inexpensive page protector, then just deal out all the pieces as you go. So that's what's happening right over here off camera. Now we've got to cut again at 2 inches. and then rotate and cut at 3. So we can fill those other 2 segments of the grid. There's our 2x3 pieces, pop those right on the grid. And then our last 2x6 inch segment, we're gonna cut into 2-inch squares. So we'll line that up and cut at 2 inches and then 2 inches. Now for our next page, we have a directional paper. And whenever you're cutting a directional paper, according to the Wonder Recipe, you want to consider which direction you want your paper to go when everything's all cut. So for this one, today's design, we're using the 2x2 squares, so it wouldn't matter. But let me bring in tomorrow's design and show you what I'm talking about. Tomorrow's design, we're using 2x3 inch pieces, and I want long stripes. So when I cut, I'm going to start my paper on this orientation so my stripes are long. I'm going to cut 2 inches, and then I'm going to cut 2 inches. And because my paper trimmer has no problem cutting 2 designer series papers at a time, I'll stack these guys up, rotate them, and cut at 3. And that gives us our 2x3 inch pieces. And we can pop them in the grid just like this, and you'll notice that we've got that nice vertical stripe orientation. With the last piece, we need 2x2 squares, so we'll just pop this back in the trimmer, cut at 2, and cut at 2. We're using the squares for this design, so I'm going to take those right off the grid, move this away. And we're going to use one of each color square for each of the copies of the card we're making today. So here we go. I just pop one into each of my envelopes, and that's how I'll keep them organized as I'm stamping a whole stack. I'll give you lots of tips for stamping a stack as we go along, and you'll keep referring back to this video if there's anything that you need to for the next 2 videos. All right, so these are your pieces for design number 2 and design number 3. Just set them aside for now, and I'll see you tomorrow in the next video for these pieces. Now, the next thing I like to do is if I'm doing a background treatment on my cards, I take care of all of them at one time. So you'll see in our card today, I've got the little flower and dot pattern. Now, these are from the Hello Ladybug stamp set, and I'm going to stamp them on the background of the card with Pool Party ink. So Pool Party on Pool Party. And you can see I've already done some ahead here. I would do, if I was doing the Stamp-a-Stack and not instructing you in the Stamp-a-Stack, I would do all that background stamping at once. So let's go ahead and grab a bone folder, a Stampin' Pierce mat, and some Pool Party ink, and we'll get our backgrounds stamped up. All right, so you'll notice that we've got them kind of a little bit right of center and a little bit left of center at the top and bottom of the card. So let's follow the sample and do that using the picture in the project sheet for suggested placement. Of course, you could do whatever you want. You can get an embossing folder, you could get a different background stamp, you could stamp randomly all over. Crafty girls do what they want. I'll get you started with some good ideas, and you take it from there. Now, what I did was I put that there, and I was like, oh, you know what? It needs a little something. So I grabbed the 3 dots that comes in the set. I'm just adding the little dots, kind of building on the 3 flower image. So there's our background, and we'll do that with all 3 cards. Now let's glue the designer series paper down. That way we don't lose any pieces. All right, I've got liquid glue here, and I'm going to just kind of toggle my designer series paper pieces, and I'll do all 3 cards. Just about like that. All right, so we've got all of our designer series paper here. The next thing I'm going to do is take this fresh freesia square and add a little texture to it. You could do some more stamping color on color, or you could grab an embossing folder. I love that we're doing today the last day of the annual catalog. And all right, so I'm using one of the greenery embossing folders. This is on the last chance list. Don't forget to get your last chance orders in the annual catalog, the new annual catalog goes live tomorrow. Today's the day to save on those last chance items. I'm gonna pop that in so that the greenery goes up the right hand side of the square, and then put this in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Because these mini folders are standard folders, I think you're going to need 1, 3, and 3. That's why I got it set it up here. Let's make sure that we get a nice impression. Yep, that's it. Standard embossing folder, but look at that beautiful deep impression. And you can do whatever you like on this square. Just give it a little life. Be creative, or grab your greenery folder. Let's glue that one down. And you'll see that I've already got our other copies. The liquid glue, pop that into place. Now, next up, let's go ahead and do some stamping. I'm going to grab my kit, and in my kit, there is some petal pink cardstock. You're going to have 2 half sheets of petal pink. You're going to have a half sheet of basic black, a half sheet of Fresh Freesia, and Pool Party. Now, I decided to do Pool Party bugs because they are a nice contrast to the Freesia underneath. So I cut 2 1/4 or 2 1/2. I think 2 1/4 was a little bit less, or a little bit more, a better fit. So 2 1/4 inch strips, and we're gonna do some wings on Pool Party. We're gonna punch a body from basic black. We're going to stamp our flowers on petal pink. And if you're doing a stack, you need 3 of each. Now, I've already, you know, the magic of television, I've already done 1 of each set for my second and third copy. Let's go ahead and do our stamping for this first copy. First thing I'm going to do is bring in my Stamparatus, and we are going to do the bug's wings. I want nice, strong black spots. I don't want felty gray spots, so I put the spots in my Stamparatus. I stamp on the scratch paper so I can see where to line up my paper. Then I can see where to line up my paper. I'll pop my scrap of Pool Party onto the Stamparatus, hold it down with the magnet, and then ink my spots and stamp. And inevitably, they're never dark enough. The cardstock will just take so much ink. So we have the Stamparatus where we can do ink, stamp, 2-3 times until you get a nice dark image the way that you like it. Look at how dark those spots are. And you'll do wings for each of your copies of your cards. Let's slide this guy out of the way and get our Stampin' Pierce mat and some ink pads. All right, we've got Memento Tuxedo Black for our sentiment. Let's go ahead and stamp that on the arrow. And we're gonna stamp it so that the arrow points to the right. And we're gonna stamp our greeting all the way to the right, which will leave some room for our gingham bow. So we've got It's a Good Day, and we're going to stamp that to the right. Ooh, it is a good day. Look how beautiful that greeting is. All right, then on our half sheets of petal pink, we're going to stamp flowers in petal pink, one of the big daisies. All these stamps, by the way, come from one stamp set. We're using a Hello Ladybug, and everything that we have used is included in this stamp set. So there's our, uh-oh, something's on my stamp. Oh, well. Stamp happens, right? Let's go ahead and re-ink and get that. I think it was a little piece of vellum stuck to my stamp. Look at it, left an impression. We're gonna do 3 of the big daisy, 3 of these little multi-flowers. I want a darker impression on this one too. Let's see what we get. All right, now I'm gonna cut these guys out with paper snips. I'm just gonna fussy cut them. Clear away these ink pads. All right, so we've got our little flowers all cut out. Our sprigs came punched in the kit, so we've got those already. Let's punch out the ladybug's wings. I just love these little blue bugs. We're taking the ladybug outside the box with some pastel colors. I hope that you guys think it's pretty cool. I'm having fun doing it. And we're going to add some dimensional adhesive to the back of our flowers now. And, oh, we forgot our ladybug's body. Let's get that. Got our basic black aside here for that. We need one for each card, don't forget. Let's adhere the wings to the body and get some dimensional on all of our flowers. All right, I got some minis. I'm gonna put one on the back of each flower, and then I've got some regular dimensionals. I'm gonna put one on the big flower right in the center. That way you've got some room to arrange your flowers in a way that's pleasing to the eye. All right, so let's go ahead and get some, oh, don't forget our bug. Let's put some dimensionals on our bug too. I like to do the main parts first. So we'll do our bug and our flowers, and then we'll arrange the sentiment and the sprigs to fill in. So we'll add our little bug, our larger daisy. It's going to kind of cover the gap between the two designer series papers. That's kind of how I designed it. And we've got 3 flowers here, 2 bigger ones and a small one. We're going to take one of the bigger ones and the small one, go kind of down from our main daisy, and then this big guy off over here. So we've got kind of a curve. Then my sprigs next, I'm going to add a little liquid glue to the back and just kind of tuck it in. If it's too long, you can give the stem a haircut and tuck it in. And then we'll bring in the sprig, do the same thing. If the stem's a little long, give it a trim and add a dot of glue to the stem. And you just layer these up. They look so cool together, the 2 shapes from the one punch. I love the opportunity to kind of mix and match and layer. And if anything is not exactly where you'd like it, you can give a little adjustment, because you don't pat anything down, don't burnish anything down too hard until you got everything the way that you like. All right, another large sprig, just a bit of glue at the base, tuck it under. And then the little guy, you'll notice that if you put the sprig this way, it kind of curves off to the right. You can turn that over and it can kind of curl off to the left. I like that about this too. With the punch, you can use either side. If it were a die cut, you'd be kind of stuck because of that little beveled edge that the die makes. So another thing for the punch, it's got that versatility that you can use either side. There's our bug and our flowers. We'll do that for our other copies of the card. And now it's a good day. We can add a little liquid glue behind the center of the greeting, and that's going to go right up on our flower. So cute. And then in the kit, you have some awesome embellishments. Let's get mine. Got some black and white gingham ribbon and these amazing flowers. You get a half a package in there, so lots of flowers. You can really be generous on your projects and still have a few left to play. So I'm going to tie a little bow. We're going to tie one for each of the cards, and I tie right along right off of the card so that we know that there's no waste. And you need about maybe 8 inches of ribbon for each one. I'm going to just correct the angle here, cut away from the card, and we'll adhere that with a mini glue dot. I also love the mini glue dots for the flowers too, so let's embellish. Little ribbon here. I'm going to put my pale papaya flowers on this particular design, and I'm going to do a big one and 2 little ones. There's 2 different sizes of 3 different colors in this packet. You can use the mini glue dots or the liquid glue. The liquid glue holds these awesome. It just takes a second for them to dry before they're secure. I like the instant gratification of the glue dots, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up glue dot for the big guy. Put that one there. And then for the smaller one, I'm going to take my scissors and I'm going to just pinch the glue dot and cut it in half, mini glue dot, and cut it in half. Now we've got two pieces. One's on my thumb and one's on the roll. And so we can use that half a dot for the little guys. This design makes 3 copies, so let's go ahead and catch up our other 2 copies of the card. And there we go. It's a good day. We've got 3 gorgeous Hello Ladybug cards, kind of outside your norm for color combination. I hope that you're enjoying it, you're feeling crafty. I'll be back tomorrow with video number 2, where we'll make May Your Greatest Wish Come True. Our 3rd card in the series, you can bug me anytime. The class makes 8 cards using the Wonder Recipe number 12. Go to kitchentablestamper.com. The link to the project is below in the description, and you can get the printable Wonder Recipe, the supply list for this, and project sheets. And there's also kitchentablestamper.com/shop. You can see if there are Hello Ladybug Stamp-A-Stack packets still available in the store for you. All right, if you've got any questions, email Marisa at kitchentablestamper.com, and to shop Stampin' Up! 24/7, buzz over to marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.